We're here in New Orleans, Louisiana at the 50th ASHP mid-year clinical meeting, talking with Drs. Brandon Shank and David Zimmerman about their new ASHP book, Demystifying Drug Dosing in Obese Patients. Doctors, where did the idea for this book come from?
The idea came from my clinical practice, where I'm commonly encountering patients who weigh over 100 kilograms, and finding drug doses on busy rounds can be difficult. So the idea came to have a resource to have those doses in a concise manner that we could be able to easily look up, since the obesity rates are increasing at a very quick pace.
Is this a book the two of you wrote yourself?
Brandon and I authored a couple of the chapters, but we also have contributors from around the country that wrote on their disciplines, that evaluate the literature, but also have clinical practice sites that add their clinical expertise in addition to research components.
What can a buyer of your book expect to find there that they can't find anyplace else?
So this is the first text that summarizes different practice states, anything from oncology, critical care, pediatrics. That reviews the most commonly used drugs, and it gives a recommendation on which weight to use or how that drug is affected in obesity.
What does every pharmacist need to know about drug dosing in obese patients?
So the literature varies quite significantly from lab animal data up to clinical trials, and currently the FDA doesn't require the studies to document and report on the weight, so it can be difficult to interpret. So using the pharmacokinetic parameters is a good place to start, but then looking at the data in the clinical models to be able to apply doses and determine the doses. So there's a lot of factors in clinical judgment and making obesity drug dosing recommendations.
What's new in this area, just in terms of pharmacotherapy and patient management?
Well, one of the great things about pharmacy is we continuously have new drugs come to the market. We can take a look at the recent anticoagulants or recent antibiotics that came out. The question is, are they safe to use in obese patients, or do we need to change our dosing? The other area is, how do we monitor these patients, looking at different lab monitors. So again, this goes back to anticoagulants, in addition to the transplant population, that pharmacy and pharmacy monitoring services are continuing to be developed.
Tell me a little bit about yourselves, Dr. Shank.
So I work at MD Anderson Cancer Center on the lymphoma service, both inpatient and outpatient. I completed my pharmacy residency at the Johns Hopkins Hospital and specializing in oncology.
Dr. Zimmerman?
I'm an assistant professor of pharmacy at the Milan School of Pharmacy at Duquesne University and emergency medicine clinical pharmacist at UPMC Mercy Hospital. I also did my first year residency at Johns Hopkins and second year in emergency medicine up at Maimonides Medical Center in Brooklyn, New York.
Doctors, thanks for your time.
Thank you.